You're probably wondering why I showed you guys a crusty dusty 5.3, what we're going to do with it. My Chicken Hawk got to blow an engine. That's what the 5.3 is for. On a budget. Welcome to TheoryWorks. My 5.3 here. I did some research. We're roughly about 290 horsepower. The problem is that's not enough for my car. But I found a budget build that I really want to try. We're going to use used 4.8 pistons, flat tops. I'm going to mill the cylinder heads, use a thin gasket, and we're going for about 11-to-1 compression, which should be pretty fun on a street car. But first things first, I got to tear this crusty dusty motor down. Let's start getting these heads off. So what I found is I can get a used set of stock 4.8 pistons on eBay for $1.50. Was pretty cheap. So far, staying unbutted. Ooh. All right, Dog Trevor Boosh. Let's get that guy out of here. But the biggest thing is try to make sure that we keep this project moving in a timely manner. So to make sure that we keep this project moving, because shipping's probably going to take a week for those pistons, I'm going to get the cylinder heads taken off. At least try to. So that I'm going to mill the cylinder. When I say I'm going to mill though, I mean a machine shop is going to mill them. By milling the cylinder heads, it's going to raise the compression ratio. I want to get to 11-to-1. So a few years back, my dad put this motor on his engine stand. But we have a small problem. Typically, when you set up a motor on engine stand, the engine stand goes only in block mounts where the transmission goes. There's a rogue one right here in the cylinder head. That literally means I can't take the cylinder head off because the cylinder head is part of what's holding the motor to the stand. So I need to relocate this guy to the block. It's gonna be tough. Definitely easier if your tools are closer to you. Let's see. They get some wrenches. The annoying part is not that side. That's close. Okay. So the annoying part is that I don't know how safe it is to necessarily try to take this off and only leave 3 on there because this motor is substantially heavy. I'm actually going to get a little support for this engine. I don't know what yet. Maybe I have an engine stand. What do you call those thingies that you jack up your car and a jack stand? Thank you. Let me get a jack stand. Hey, just in case this thing gets a little wonky. Got a little bit of extra stand under the front. So when you set up an engine stand, it's best to try to get the weight center-lined on this guy here, because then what happens is if it's too far up and you're trying to rotate it over, it's like, and it's just super hard to rotate the engine over. So if you can get the weight centered on your engine stand, that's preferable. So make sure all these are tight. Gross. Safety first, you want this landing on your foot and ruining your day. That would be not a fun idea. Well, I mean, stuff was mostly tight. Not really. All right, let's get one of these heads off. I'm gonna take his rocker assemblies out, push rods, get that broken down. So, in order to get the heads out, rocker assemblies got to come out. Not a big deal. Yeah, the biggest thing, not that size. The biggest thing that's important when you're working on these guys, seeing how I'm going to be reusing a lot of this motor, it's important that the rocker arms and the push rods go back in their exact same locations. Mainly because, as these engines wear, we don't know the mileage of this car, they wear together and they create a wear pattern, and you switch that up, and all of a sudden there's a chance you're going to increase the wear of your components. So when you break them down, keep everything in order in case you're going to reuse your old components. Ooh, that's a good idea on rocker arms when you're doing them. So some of these are going to be under spring tension, just based on the position of the camshaft. So a safe bet is to loosen them gradually. You see how that one moved? That one's loose. Loosey. No tension. Oh, nice, some tension on that one. Oh, that one is tension. Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to loosen them off. And as you can see, I'm being very conscientious to leave the hardware in there, because that's going to help locate my rocker arms. Whew, thank goodness for power tools. I'd be tired of wrenching already. You could use a power tool. What's going on here? But I don't recommend it. Not on head bolts. There's a lot of other bolts. I've heard rumors that using a, like a hair gun to do the initial brake freed on head bolts can, damage the threads on the way out. Use a hand tool. I know it's a little bit extra effort. It's not that bad. If it's too hard, you got two options. Bigger tool. Go to the gym. One thing that's important is, while you're trying to be efficient, in this case, you can see I'm loosening both cylinder heads right here while I have the tool out. So I decided to see if chat could help me build an engine. So I said, hey, I got this Junkyard 5.3. Here's the year. What do I have for budget options? I would love to get to 11.1 compression. So chat recommended that what people used to do in the early days of LSs is we take a 5.3, which has dished pistons, dished this way, and you swap in pistons out of the 4.8. And what that will do is that will raise the compression ratio to roughly about, rough estimation, like a 10.2, 10.51 compression ratio, which is much better for a naturally aspirated build like we're doing here. And, it's just for my chicken hawk anyways. So, I'm curious if this combination will actually do better than the LS1 did that's in there. With long tube headers, big cam, high flow intake. It only made like 330 the wheels. So, the other thing too is that I said, well, I still want to get to 11:1 compression. And said that I should take the stock heads off and I should have them milled by machine shop. And it gave me, I don't remember what it said, like 30 thousandths. I think it said the cutoff. And it estimates with that and a thinner than stock head gasket that I would end up at 11.1 compression, which would be sweet. Yeah. 91 octane will be a must. I know we talked about the importance of, because we're reusing a lot of stuff in this engine, making sure we don't mix it up. End bolts. They'll be okay. Don't worry about those. So, a good idea when you're taking off cylinder heads is make sure you leave at least one bolt in each head pretty loose. Only because these heads usually are stuck to the block, especially after what seems like a long time on this particular engine. And so you're going to be tapping and prying, and the last thing you want to do is just like go poof, and the head falls on the ground. Super interesting. This one has got some funny rust to it. Not the end of the world, but it doesn't feel like it's actually etched into the walls. So I don't know when that happened. I don't feel anything goofy, but you can see. So when an engine is operating, see these are at different heights. Well, these two are at one height. That one's a different one. As the engine's operating, the pistons are going poo, 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 poo. For instance, so see if I turn this over. This is what your pistons are doing on a V8 at different times. And they time them differently for horsepower optimization, vibration optimization, and same thing on the other stroke. Because, for instance, as this one, the combustion fires, it pushes down, and the firing from that pushing down is what's pushing these other cylinders up. Same thing, fired. This one's going up, fired. Not roughly in that order, but you get the gist. Well, we got our cylinder heads removed. Take off this crusty gasket. Man, you can see there's a high mileage head gasket. these rust spots here where it's trying to burn through the cylinder head. I would have to guess this motor's probably near 200K miles. So the good news is I don't see any bad damage. The cylinder walls seem like they're in reasonable shape, where I can just give them a quick hone. But so step one, as far as time management, take cylinder heads to the machine shop, get them cut. Because while they're getting cut at the machine shop, order pistons from eBay, get those things down. eBay pistons about $150. Cylinder head work, probably between like $100 and $200. And let's get those things underway so that we can begin our show. So the whole part of this is that I'm going to try to put together a reliable engine on a budget, but without having everything be perfect. Because we're not building a race engine. Realistically, the goal is about, 350, 400 wheel horse would be nice. And so this is just to show you guys that you don't have to have, $3,000, $4,000 to be able to put together a fun engine. There's just certain items that need to be addressed while you're working on it. And you don't have to have perfect components. We can have old rocker arms. We can use crusty heads. Of course, we're going to clean them, but they're still, in this case, probably 200 to 300,000 mile heads. So that's the point, is put this motor together, show you guys that we can do it budget oriented without breaking the bank, and still have fun. Don't get me wrong, I love a good blueprinted engine, perfectly balanced, but that's not for everybody. Thanks for watching. If you guys made it this far, this is TheoryWorks.